Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to go over hosting, and more specifically AWS hosting, and whether or not it works with how good it is for hosting WordPress websites. So to start off, what is hosting? Hosting is essentially just when a hosting provider allocates space on a web server for a website to store its files. That refers to as hosting a website. Their files are things like the website's code, images, things that allow the website to look and run how it does, and make it available for viewing online. So every website you've ever visited is hosted on some kind of server, and the amount of space allocated on a server to the website depends on what type of hosting. So the main types of hosting are shared, dedicated, VPS, reseller, and they're differentiated by the kind of technology used for the server, and the level of management provided, and also any other additional services on offer. So what is AWS hosting? So AWS is Amazon Web Services' own hosting, and it refers to the hosting services provided by the global e-commerce giant Amazon. And AWS hosting is one service within the larger AWS platform, so it provides an array of cloud-based products. In addition to web hosting, some of its top products are cloud storage and database services. So AWS would count as a type of cloud hosting, basically. It's actually one of the largest cloud platform there is, or AWS, and so they were one of the earlier companies to kind of provide cloud-based services. So they're quite respected in terms of anyone interested in being cloud hosting. So this is the AWS hosting website. So you can go here to see exactly what it is that they offer. But how the AWS hosting works is, as I mentioned before, it uses cloud hosting. With traditional hosting, a website is stored on a physical web server. Cloud hosting is slightly the opposite. It uses a network of connected servers, both virtual and physical. That means that websites that use cloud hosting aren't dependent on one machine. One server in the network can go down without affecting the performance of the website being hosted on it, because there are other servers in that network to pick up the slack, and that can be relied on, basically. AWS isn't the only option for cloud hosting, but it is very well known and very popular for cloud hosting providers. So types of AWS hosting. So AWS offer different types of AWS hosting for different levels of need. So for example, one of them that they offer is AWS S3. So the AWS Amazon Simple Storage Service, basically, and it's good for simple static websites that use HTML and JavaScript to basically display your website. They don't contain any server-side scripting, and you can see on their website exactly what they offer for their for this type of hosting. But yeah, it's good for websites that are very sort of simple brochure build. Not a lot of processes are running in the background. It's not like an e-commerce website where there's loads of processes running in the background, where it would require a lot more resources. If you have a simple blog portfolio website, then that might be a better option for you. In terms of what you can get, so you can get actually 12 months free, which is a really good offer. Not a lot of hosting companies will offer that much free as well, but you can get up to 12 months free, and what you get is 5 GB of standard storage. You get 20,000 GET requests, so essentially how many times the website can make requests to the server. In terms of this, 5 GB storage might not be enough. Again, it just depends on the size of your website. If you are a simple kind of blog-based website, not a lot of content, then 5 GB might actually just be enough. It's not like a very little amount, but it is a lot less than what you would typically get from other cloud hosting providers, even on their most lower plans. To look at their pricing, you just click on the Amazon S3 pricing. And you can see that you have pricing based on storage, requests, data transfer, things like that. But with Amazon S3, you only pay for what you use. There's no minimum charge. So for example, with the storage, it's 0.021 per GB, depending on how much TB a month that you're using. So it's a very flexible kind of pricing as well. And that's for their Amazon S3 hosting. Another one is AWS Amplify, and you'll find that here as well. So it's a fully managed CI, CD, and hosting service for fast and secure, reliable static websites and server-side rendered web apps. So it's good for front-end web and mobile applications. Essentially, it's good for websites with a single-page app framework or static generators. Again, you get the 12 months free. You also get build and deploy, and you get 1,000 build minutes with that as well. And in terms of hosting, you get the same kind of 5 GB standard storage per month, and then you get 15 GB served per month as well. So it's a little bit more flexible than the S3, and so you get a little bit more for it. But again, it is mainly for the single page app frameworks and static site generators, so it is a bit low in terms of what they're offering. But you have different things like that as well. If you click into their pricing, you can see that there's different pricing as well. So you can get started for free and then pay as you go along, and then you can always build your front end for free as well. You can host an app, and that's free up to 12 months. There's no cost up to 100 GB per hour as well. They give you some pricing examples. So example 1, you can monthly build and deploy your charges. Monthly build and then total build time is number of development times, number of commits per day, divided by that, and then that gives you 600 builds per month. So you can get up to $6 a month for your hosting, or even $8 a month for your hosting, so it is quite cheap as well. With their hosting, it is very much you pay for what you do. So you're not paying for anything extra, and that's not common with a lot of hosting providers, even like other cloud hosting providers. You're essentially paying for a plan, and then you get whatever your plan limits you to, and that means you're also paying for things that you might not need. So it's a little bit more flexible with the AWS. You also get Amazon LightSail as an option. So Amazon LightSail is also on their page here. So this is using virtual private servers. LightSail can be used to host simple websites built on common applications like WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, and Magento. So Amazon LightSail, so this would be more for your WordPress websites. Especially if you are using sort of common WordPress websites like that. Or you can use it for a development stack like LAMP, for example. This would be a more common one to use if you are wanting to host a WordPress site. Amazon LightSail is probably the one that you're wanting to go for. They have a different site. Their site pricing is slightly different. So you get 3 months free trial, and so that's or up to 750 hours per month, and that's free. And then you try the 350 LightSail plan for free as well for 1 month if you're using Linux. So different options. So 3 months free trial is a little bit different to the 12 months free. However, that's still a long time to be testing out your platform. So a lot of hosting providers, when you buy a plan with them, they will usually offer 30-day money-back guarantees. Some hosting providers go all the way up to 90 days, but 3 months is definitely one of the highest as well. So that's a pretty good plus as well. So it means that you can really test out the hosting before really committing to it. So with Amazon LightSail, you pay a really low predictable price, and it bundles resources like the memory, CPU, solid state drive into one plan. So it makes budgeting kind of really easy. And you can decide sort of which servers that you want to use as well, and which kind of containers that you want to use as well. And you kind of bundle everything. You build your own essentially bundle, and then that will essentially make your plan. So you, again, with Amazon hosting, you are basically getting for what you pay for. You can calculate how much your plan is going to be using the AWS pricing calculator. You just want to click on create estimate, and you want to search by service and location type. So or you can search for service as well. So you type in the hosting plan that you want, and you configure all the information. So we've got the virtual servers, and then we can choose which region that we're in. And all of this will kind of affect your monthly pricing as well. So we've got the virtual servers. We'll add the managed databases as well, because we might need that if you are an e-commerce site. Number of servers, so we'll say 2. And our operating system that you are. It tends to be a little bit cheaper if you're using a Linux-based operating system. And then you would just add in all of the containers that you might need, databases, and at the bottom it'll give you a monthly cost, what you're using and what it's going to cost you sort of every month, and if there's any upfront costs needed. So you can calculate the cost of your hosting before you commit to it. You can also contact their sales if you're not sure. So as I mentioned before, Amazon LightSail is probably the one that you would use if you are hosting your WordPress site. The other ones that they have is AWS application hosting, and they have their Amplify hosting, and they have their enterprise web hosting, and those are for websites that kind of expect high levels of traffic, especially the enterprise web hosting. So if you do expect high levels of traffic and need sort of complex support applications and media sites and enterprise businesses, then that might be the one for you. Application hosting is for businesses who need hosting not just for websites but also for other internet-based products like mobile application and things like that. So if you are going to use AWS hosting, you need to figure out which service makes the most sense for you, and then your needs will play a role in what you pay and how satisfied you are with the experience. But as I mentioned before, AWS, it's likely you're going to use the LightSail for things like your WordPress website. There's a lot of reasons to consider using AWS hosting. One of them being is security. So Amazon has extensive knowledge about how to protect their hosting platforms, and they have a really good knowledge on AWS services. The company kind of promises infrastructure that was built to the standards of most industries, including global banks and military. So finding a secure web host is the first step to making sure your website is secure, and AWS is a solid choice for that. AWS also has a huge infrastructure backing its hosting services, which basically means that you'll expect really strong performance most of the time. So for websites that use AWS hosting, it means that you can typically count on fast loading times near constant uptime. Flexibility as well. So one of the big benefits of cloud hosting in general, but also including AWS hosting, is that it's easier to scale up and down as you need. So if your website's needs aren't consistent, so say your traffic surges during the holiday season and then it slows down during months after, then having a web hosting plan that can accommodate for your varying needs as they arise is very useful. AWS hosting is a really good choice for that. Another reason to consider that is payment model. So AWS uses a kind of pay-as-you-go model, which is useful for some businesses. For months when you have fewer visitors and you need less bandwidth, your costs will go down. And if you only need some of the services of AWS, then you'll pay less because of it, because you're not paying anything extra that you don't need. You're just paying for what you're actually going to use. So if you like the idea of knowing that you'll only pay for what you need, AWS kind of makes that possible. No other kind of cloud hosting provider, or very few other cloud hosting providers, will give you that option. There are, however, some drawbacks to AWS hosting, and one of them is being how they're being priced. So while the pay-as-you-go model is a plus for some website owners, it can be a negative for others, because it makes into a very difficult payment process. Some people like the pre-packaged bundle plans that they select, and then they'll select for one. So understanding what you owe and knowing what to expect each month can become difficult using the kind of pay-as-you-go calculator. You might feel like you have less control over your costs, and you don't want to end up surprised with a bill that's much higher than your business budget for the month. A lot of web providers offer much more straightforward pricing, and you pay a set amount per month or year period. And for companies or individuals on a strict budget, you know exactly what you'll owe, so it can make a lot more sense than dealing with the possibility of a change month to month. The other thing about AWS hosting is that it's not something that I would recommend for beginners. It offers lots of functionality, but that's not intuitive for beginners. So figuring out how to get set up and use the hosting service can be confusing. Most other web hosting providers do a lot better job kind of providing ease of use for non-experts. If you don't want to deal with a steep learning curve, or you don't have the IT experts on staff to do so, then AWS hosting might not be worth the effort. Although AWS have like a impressive security and high performance expectations, there is some vulnerability. Websites that use AWS hosting have faced leaks and hacks before, and the hosting service has dealt with the occasional outage in spite of its really good infrastructure. So choosing a reputable web hosting provider like AWS makes a difference when it comes to security and performance, but it's not a guarantee that you'll experience no issues. So is AWS hosting good for hosting WordPress websites? So as I mentioned before, AWS's hosting is scalable. So is a scalability. So the AWS infrastructure enable you to kind of scale your website, and some hosting companies can't do that, but it is a very common thing to do with the cloud hosting. So if you are on shared hosting, for example, you won't have that much you won't have the ability to scale up or down your business, because you are always going to be given a set amount of resources allocated to you every single month. So with cloud hosting, kind of helps that, and AWS are very good with it. And again, you get the flexibility over which resources that you want. So it can be cheaper for smaller websites than other hosting options, while delivering very good performance as well. There are kind of countless WordPress hosting providers out there, but Amazon LightSail would be the one if you wanted to go for web hosting with AWS. So LightSail is the cloud platform that provides everything you need to deploy and host your WordPress website. So you can click into Amazon LightSail here and see everything that you need to kind of get started. You can include instances, manage your database, load balancers, things like that. You can use LightSail to launch your WordPress websites. You can also use LightSail to deploy kind of small-scale web applications as well, or business software, developer sandboxes and testing, things like that. LightSail is very popular among WordPress users, but it isn't the only choice for hosting a WordPress website. So some of the pros of LightSail and WordPress is that it is beginner friendly. LightSail is geared towards helping new users get started with AWS. The LightSail Management Console it provides easy access to all the core AWS configurations, so you can configure your own server, your own static IP address, and the DNS as well settings without any specialist assistance. If you're an individual or you run a small business and that you don't have a system admin on hand, then you can easily use LightSail to create, deploy, and maintain your kind of self-hosted WordPress website. Using LightSail, you can typically bring a host online within minutes, even if you have zero previous AWS experience. Another pro is that it has a set monthly limit. So with LightSail, you pay hourly for the rate of the resources that you're using up to a pre-arranged maximum monthly cost. So at the time, so before, LightSail subscriptions ranged from $3 to $240 per month. But that plan obviously includes a Windows Server license. If you those are usually priced higher than if you were to use a Linux and UX plan. But any outbound data transfers that exceed your plan's data transfer allowance will be extra charges. So you can set your own monthly limit in that sense and not have to worry about sort of going over that limit. And the most important thing is that it's flexible. So if your website outgrows what you have set up in your LightSail subscription, if you need more resources, then you can upgrade your RAM and storage capacity at any time by using the new LightSail instance. So if you need to cut costs as well or save resources, then you can switch to a smaller LightSail instance, which is essentially the basis for cloud hosting, is that you can scale up and down really easily. So the fact that you can do it yourself with AWS makes it a lot easier as well for you to have a bit more control over your website and things like that. If you're migrating to a smaller instance, then you'll need a backup of your data to alternative AWS service, launch a smaller LightSail instance, and then manually migrate your data to this new instance. So it's a bit of a hassle to scale up and down, but you do have that option and you do have that flexibility. With LightSail and WordPress, they have lots of positives, but there are some drawbacks that make it unsuitable for certain use. And maybe an alternative hosting platform might be a better fit for your WordPress website. One of the drawbacks we briefly talked about was that it doesn't auto scale. So before we talked about how you can scale it yourself, if you need to scale down to less resources, or if you need to scale up to more resources, you can do that yourself. But some hosting providers will have an auto scale feature. So although you can upgrade to a higher, larger LightSail instance at any time, LightSail won't spin up those additional instances whenever certain criteria are met, and it won't spin down those resources when they're no longer required. So if you're building a personal website or your site isn't business critical, then this kind of lack of agility might not be a huge issue, but it does make LightSail unsuitable for the enterprise or for websites that have fluctuating workloads, because you are then responsible of scaling up or down your resources. It's not something that LightSail will do for you. So again, if you're a business, it's not something that you want, because you want to be able to have that handled for you. Like, you have your service hosting know that you're about to hit a certain limit and to quickly add some more resources and do that for you, and things like that. The other drawback, and this can be quite significant depending on yourself as a person, but you need to pay extra for technical support. So by default, all LightSail users are entitled to the basic support package, which provides access to the official sort of AWS documentation, white papers, and support forms, so that you can find all of that in their website up here. But it's important to note that this isn't technical support. This is more like knowledge bases, resources, and guides. If you require technical support, then you need to purchase a separate support package, which can range from different pricing. So you can see on the AWS support plan pricing, they've got different support plan levels. So you've got developer all the way up to enterprise. So their pricing ranges from as low as $29, but can then go all the way up to $15,000. Which is a significant amount, and depending on your budget and how much you're willing to spend on the website, that can be completely out of the question. LightSail itself is straightforward to set up, and there's lots of documentation out there to maintain it. So in theory, you're unlikely to require that much technical assistance, but if you do encounter an issue, then you'll need to either purchase a dedicated support package or deal with the problem yourself. If your WordPress website is business critical and you plan to implement advanced or complex functionality, then you should either plan to purchase an additional support package or opt for an alternative platform that provides technical support as standard. If you compare their support with other support that's been offered with other cloud hosting providers, lots of other cloud hosting providers will include their phone support, ticket-based email support, live chat support within their plans, and that have different ranging, but can be a bit more affordable than what you're offering. So if technical support is something that you know you'll need, then maybe LightSail might not be the one for you. But those are the two real kind of main issues. LightSail is still a really good platform to go for, it's very reputable. In terms of how to host your WordPress website using Amazon LightSail, the first thing that you need to do is buy a domain name. So as a general rule, you should opt for a domain name that's easy to spell, pronounce, and remember, and includes keywords that are relevant to your website's content and doesn't have any numbers or hyphens. Some of the most popular domain registrars include domain.com, GoDaddy, Bluehost, Namecheap as well. To kind of get started with Amazon Web Services, you'll need an Amazon Web Services account. If you don't have an AWS account, you can sign up for the 12 months of free tier access, which includes a 30-day free trial of Amazon LightSail if you wanted to. So what you need to do is sign up for AWS and just use your email address and send in an account name as well. And then just fill in your setup information as well, in terms of like who you are, name, support, all of that. Once you've signed up, the next thing you need to do is create a WordPress instance in LightSail. So sign into the LightSail console, and then what you want to do is go into Instances and click on Create Instance. And you want to click your instance platform, whichever one it is, and then you want to select a blueprint. And you want to click on WordPress, and then you want to select your instance plan, whichever one that is. And then you want to click on the plan that you want. You can get the first free trial free of the $10 plan, and then what you want to do is click on Create Instance. And that's it, that's your WordPress instance done. So it's pending now, but essentially once that's done, then all you need to do is log into the WordPress admin dashboard, and you'll be able to start working on your WordPress site. And again, your hosting kind of begins immediately, but you also have the 3-month trial free if you needed to. So there's lots of pros and cons when hosting your website with LightSail. You can see exactly how LightSail is used to kind of configure and launch a WordPress website using Amazon's cloud platform. Using LightSail, you can create a website even if you have zero previous AWS experience, but there's no such thing as a kind of one-size-fits-all hosting provider. There are some drawbacks, meaning that LightSail might not be the best for your choice. Particularly the main reason being is their support package. If you are someone, as easy as it is to install LightSail, if you are someone that doesn't have much of a technical background, or you're not wanting to deal with a lot of technical issues, or even the common issues that can occur whenever you are hosting a website, if those are the type of things you don't want to deal with yourself, then you want to make sure then you pick a hosting provider that can deal with that for you. Whether that's using Amazon LightSail and buying one of their premium support packages, or going with a completely different hosting provider that actually provide the support within their support packages. Other options are in terms of if you like the idea of cloud hosting as opposed to shared hosting. So shared hosting is when a web hosting service where websites will live on kind of one web server and then connect to the internet. So multiple websites will use one single server, and then you're allocated to a certain amount of resources and a certain amount of performance resources as well. So each customer will have a limit on the total amount of server resources they can use, but that will be defined by your hosting package. And that obviously is different to the cloud hosting because you'll get one server to yourself. And the main reasons why you would pick sort of cloud hosting over that is, again, what we talked about, the scalability. So you can, if your website is experiencing dips and hikes in traffic, then it's something that cloud hosting can accommodate for, because it can allocate more resources if it needs to and remove resources if it doesn't need it. Whereas with shared hosting, you don't get that scaling functionality. You are stuck with the amount of resources that has been allocated to you. So it's a bit more restrictive in that. So if you do like the idea of using cloud hosting, but you don't want to use AWS, there are plenty of other hosting providers out there that can support all your needs as well. One of them being Hostinger. Hostinger is becoming a really well-known name in the WordPress hosting industry. They offer affordable hosting, 24/7 live chat support, and a really good platform to host your website. Hostinger comes with one-click WordPress install. So if you do go with hosting your WordPress website with Hostinger, it's really easy to get started and install your WordPress website. They also have managed automatic updates, enhanced security, free CDN, and free site migration. And they also offer geolocation-specific hosting as well, with a choice of 7 data centers across the USA, Europe, Asia, and South America. So a lot of pros that Hostinger has over AWS, one of them being is their really great customer support. So Hostinger's customer support is included in all of their plans. They provide 24/7 customer support via live chat. Currently they don't offer phone support, but they do offer the live chat functionality, and their support team is really well trained and available to help whenever it's needed. Their customer success team offers support in English to global customers, but if you've not purchased their hosting via one of their local websites, then you have the option to get customer support in that local language as well. A lot of the reviews, you can tell the customer support is very responsive, very engaging. They have almost a very immediate response times, and other user reviews have also reported a really good customer service experience when interacting with the support team as well. Apart from the live chat, Hostinger has an extensive knowledge base that contains detailed kind of step-by-step tutorials to answer the most common hosting problems that someone might face. So if customer support is really important to you and you don't want to pay the premium fees that come with the AWS hosting, then Hostinger might be an option for you. If you scroll down, if you go onto the website and go into hosting and look for their cloud hosting page, you can see this is what they're offering in terms of the plan. So it's different to their AWS hosting where you're paying as you go. With hosting and with like other hosting providers, you are paying for essentially a set plan that has a limit on things like how many websites you can use, the amount of storage and things like that, and the amount of bandwidth. So again, you could be paid for things that you don't need, but at the same time, a lot of these things are kind of useful, and you might find you might use them later. So for example, all of them have the support. They have the 24/7 support as well. They also have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so it's a lot less than the free trial that you get with AWS, but you get a full month essentially to test out their hosting platform, test out their support and things like that, to see how it feels, and then you can get a full refund completely hassle-free. You also get the daily backups as well, so if in terms of site maintenance, if you want your hosting provider to manage your WordPress for you, manage your updates and your backups, this is also another good option because the hosting team will kind of take that for you. The main differences between all of these plans is the performance, so the amount of RAM that you get with each performance, the amount of CPU cores you get with each package is different. So you want to basically select the plan that works for you. If you know you're not if your website doesn't have that much content, it doesn't require a lot of high processing, then maybe the Cloud Startup might be for you. But if you are, for example, an e-commerce website that has a lot of hikes and dips in traffic and a lot of high traffic whenever it does, then maybe the enterprise plan might be better to ensure that you have a smooth running website. Whichever plan works for you, you need to think about the performance needs, and you also need to think about what budget you have and how much you're willing to spend on the website. So there's different kind of things you want to go for in that one as well. So there's pros and cons of Hostinger. They do have lower pricing plans, especially for people who just want to test out an idea or a project. They have really good performance. Their performance is excellent considering their pricing, and their performance for speed is great for this price point in the hosting industry as well. And they have the really good customer service. And the cons being compared to AWS is that you're not kind of getting with AWS you kind of get what you pay for, whereas or you only pay what you're using, whereas with the Hostinger plans you're kind of paying for other things that you might not need, things like daily backups, free migration, domain. Those might be things that you can do yourself and not need the other people and not need their team to do for you, but you're still paying for that anyway. So that can be a little bit of a negative. Hostinger I think is really good for beginners who want to start a website without spending too much money, especially if you go for one of their shared plans. So if you go to hosting, WordPress hosting as well, you can see how low their prices go. This is one of the lowest price points in the industry. So if you're starting out, you can get a certain amount of storage and things like that. So if you're just starting out, you're not sure if you need cloud hosting, if you need shared hosting, you can start out with Hostinger. And they do offer sort of unlimited or even 100 GB bandwidth for their lower cost websites. You get the easy one-click WordPress install, Lightspeed caching, Cloudflare CDN as well with your plan. But again, if you're someone that has a technical background and prefers to do that kind of things themselves, you're essentially paying for things that you don't really need. In terms of their shared hosting plans, you can see it breaks down to single, premium, business, and pro. With the single, you get one website, one email account, and 50 GB SSD storage, and that's good for up to sites that have about 10,000 monthly visits. Again, it doesn't have unlimited bandwidth, and it doesn't include a free domain. With the premium, or the starter, you get the up to 100 websites, but you do get the free domain as well in the first year, and the difference between the bandwidth and the monthly visits as well. And then the business and the WordPress Pro are suitable for small businesses, and WordPress Pro for small to medium businesses, so they have a lot more resources allocated for those types of websites. They have a 200 GB SSD storage, which is a generous amount of storage to give, and then they also have sort of unlimited bandwidth as well. So you have a good sort of amount of options to have whenever you are hosting with them, depending on if you want hosting, shared hosting or cloud hosting as well. So it's up to you how you want to use that, but Hostinger again is a really recommended WordPress hosting provider. So you wouldn't, if you are not wanting the AWS hosting, then this is another great option to try. Another really good website hosting provider to try is SiteGround. So SiteGround is one of the most popular and highest rated hosting provider in the WordPress community. They provide really unique in-house WordPress speed and security solutions to make your site as fast and as secure as possible. Again, with their customer support, they are known to have the best 24/7 customer support in the industry, and they are also an official WordPress recommended hosting provider. And a lot of really popular WordPress websites will use SiteGround as their hosting provider. Similar to Hostinger, their site plans include sort of automatic upgrades, daily backups, built-in WP caching, free CDN, free SSL, one-click staging, and Git version control as well. And similar to Hostinger, they also offer geolocation-specific hosting. So they have 6 data centers spread across USA, Europe, Asia, and Australia. So just briefly to go over their pros and cons, servers are powered by Google Cloud, which is one of the most fasting technologies out there. They have really good customer support. They are an officially recommended WordPress hosting provider, and there's a lot of free tools that come with all of their plans, including SSL, CDN, staging tools, and website migration as well. So when it comes to their customer service, they have a lot of sort of good reviews and a lot of high praise for their customer service. Their support team is very good at offering quick and helpful, knowledgeable support to their customers. Unlike Hostinger though, their 24/7 customer support includes a phone as well as a ticket-based email support, so Hostinger only would include the live chat. You get a lot more options for the customer support with SiteGround. But as well as that, they also have their own kind of knowledge base as well, where they can where you can browse different articles, videos, tutorials, and guides to help with any common issues or issues that you think don't require sort of any external kind of help. So again, if customer service is really important to you, SiteGround is a really good one, especially because they are specialists in WordPress websites. So not only will you get help in hosting your WordPress website, but you can also get some help on your WordPress website itself. If there's any issues that you're currently running, you can kind of rest assured knowing that the support that you're getting is well equipped and capable of giving you all the support that you need and sorting your issues as quickly as possible. In terms of their cloud pricing plan, so they have got 4 different plans as well, things like Jumpstart, Business, Business Plus, and Superpower. So their hosting plans come with a lot more performance features. So their CPU cores start at 4, whereas Hostingers start at 2 and end at I think 8. And theirs go all the way up to 16. You get a lot more memory, you get a lot more SSD space. It is a little bit more expensive than some of the plans that you would have seen, especially compared to their shared hosting plans. So this is their cloud hosting plans. They've got different payment points for their shared hosting plans. They have a little bit more different price points as well, so it is a bit more expensive, but you do get a lot out of it, including the WordPress installs, CDNs, free domain, and the 24/7 customer support. What's nice about SiteGround's cloud hosting plan is that it's similar to AWS, where you can sort of configure your own plan. So if you're looking at these 4 plans and thinking none of these suit my website, none of these suit my website needs, or one of them is close but it's not enough, what you can do is scroll down and you can see this section here to configure your own cloud. If you click on that, you can see that you can configure any of the existing cloud plans, for example the business plans. This is what you get with the business plan. You get the 8 CPU, 12 GB memory, and 80 GB SSD, but you can actually configure the CPU, memory, and the SSD space. So if you're looking at the business plan and thinking, well, I don't need 12 CPU cores, but I need a little bit more than 8, you can actually adjust the amount of CPU cores that you get, and obviously the price will adjust to that, and you are kind of essentially choosing your own features. Again, there's features that the only thing that you can really change is the CPU, memory, and SSD space, but you do get that level of customization that AWS offers. Not as much level of customization that AWS offers, but you still get that anyway. So you can configure sort of the memory and the SSD space, and that way you're not kind of paying more than what you want. You can sort of customize that plan to yourself. So it's a little bit better than Hostinger in terms of the hosting plans, because you can customize the plans yourself, but it's not as customizable as AWS would be. And again, if you're not sure about what plan would suit you, what you can do is also talk to their sales experts. So this button is here everywhere on their site before you log in. You can chat with their sales team and essentially talk to them about your business needs, your website needs, what you're kind of expecting in terms of traffic, and they'll be able to guide you on what plan would be best, whether it's one of the predefined plans that they already have, or if it's a version of one of their plans that they have that you can configure yourself, and they'll be able to help you with that as well. In that case, it's also a really good way to test out their customer service. If by talking to them and you realize actually this is a good team to work with, they'll be able to help, then that's another way to kind of test out that customer service as well. So definitely have a look at their plans and have a look at their resources and see which plan kind of suits you. It is an officially WordPress recommended hosting provider, so you know that the support that you're going to get is going to be accurate, and it's going to be quick and easy as well. So you can kind of rely on that as well. SiteGround's performance, SiteGround's hosting, their websites there rank really highly in terms of performance, speed, and stress. And again, their customer service is really good. So some general pros of SiteGround is that, you know, they have super fast servers. All their SiteGround servers are highly optimized for speed. They use Google Cloud Platform for all new customers, which is one of the fastest platforms on the market. And they have really good customer support. So their customer support is amazing, and they offer the 24/7 phone support, live chat, and ticket-based support. That's with all their plans, and so already it's better than the Hostinger support, because Hostinger again only offers the live chat ticket-based system. They also have free CDN and SSL install setup, and they have multiple server locations. Again, the free CDN and SSL, those can count as if you are already planning to do that yourself, then it's not much of a pro as well, but at least you have the option to get them to do it yourself, and it just means a lot less hassle for yourselves. So some of the cons compared to that, compared to AWS is, again, just the hosting prices. So again, it is set pricing for the plans, whereas AWS, you can really customize it to everything you need. And while it does have its own customization options, you can really only customize 3 things. You can't like take out additional services like the one-click WordPress install or the free migration and things like that. So definitely different options that you can have when it comes to SiteGround. It is a highly recommended platform anyway, if you are looking for other platforms. Another really good hosting provider, especially for WordPress, is WP Engine. So WP Engine is a very kind of, again, specific hosting for WordPress, so similar to SiteGround. They offer kind of hassle-free hosting, and they offer really fast and robust servers that can handle anything that your website might need. Your website is basically hacker-proof, and their really good customer service makes you feel really essentially supported and kind of relaxed in the knowledge that your site is in kind of expert and capable hands. They offer things similar to what SiteGround and hosting offer. So they offer automatically security updates, backups, automatic caching, and things like that. So because they are specifically for WordPress, they are all kind of WordPress experts that will be able to deal with any WordPress issue, whether that's with hosting or with your WordPress website in general. They'll be able to deal with all of those issues themselves. Really popular brands like HTC, Foursquare, SoundCloud use WP Engine for their WordPress hosting. So if you are a business or a person who does not want to deal with the technical side of running your blog, then WP Engine is the solution for you as well. So just an overview of the pros that they have. They have fast loading times. They have expert WordPress support. They have advanced security tools, one-click WordPress install, free SSL, CDN, and website backups. They also have really easy staging tools, and they have over 10 premium themes to choose from as well. So WordPress Engine is basically managed WordPress hosting. They have an impressive customer list, including Yelp, Asana, National Geographic. And WP Engine is a really ideal choice if you're looking for hassle-free premium WordPress hosting. You can see on their plans, so if you go onto the website, you can see they have 3 different hosting plans. So they only offer managed WordPress hosting, and they have these 3 offers here. So they've got the managed WordPress, they've got e-commerce solutions for WordPress, for WooCommerce, and then advanced solutions. So their managed hosting manages hosting, and it's good for small businesses and sort of like blog websites. The e-commerce solution is for WooCommerce hosting with powerful e-commerce templates and more. Then they've got advanced solutions, and that is for very high performing websites that would need a lot more support and resources to manage. And this one itself doesn't have a hosting plan like as a general solid number, but they do start at $468, and then you will talk to their customer sales team to kind of get an understanding of what you're getting with the pricing, and then what other things you can add to it if you need to. So similar to SiteGround, their hosting plan actually you can customize to an extent, and maybe a little bit more than how you can customize their cloud hosting plans. So for example, the e-commerce solutions for WooCommerce, they start at £39 per month, and what you're getting is managed WordPress hosting. You get 2 times faster page speed with Evercache, better product search to drive sales, auto plugin updates for site safety. And then there's additional, and then the other things you can get is the 15 GB storage, 125 GB bandwidth, and then you also get 3 sites to use with that plan. The ways you can customize it is you can add additional sites. So for example, actually if you need this plan for 5 sites, you can click on this button here and customize the amount of sites that you're getting with this plan. You can also add an extra layer of security for another 30. So you can add the SOC 2 level security that's managed by WAF. And then you can add for £3 some site monitoring, so you'll get website status updates and learn about errors really quickly. Other things you can do is you can use the scroll bar here and really scale and really decide how much customization that you want. So if you scale up, it'll change the amount of storage, bandwidth, and sites that you get. So you don't get the full customizations that you will get with the AWS, but you can customize it in terms of how many sites that you need, how much storage that you need, and any additional add-ons. So you do get a little bit of plan customization, which is really good. You can't take out things, so you can't take out any pros that they give you, so you can still be paying for things that you don't need, but you do get a level of site. You also don't need to pay more just to get additional things. For example, if you're with the website startup and you're happy with the amount of storage and GB that you need, but you actually want it for one more site, instead of using a plan that, instead of moving to the next plan up, you can just adjust certain things in the current plan that you have and to kind of save you a bit more money. The other option for other website hosting providers would be to go to the next plan up, which means you're definitely paying for more than what you actually need, which can be a bit of a hassle. Some of the pros of WP Engine is that WP Engine offer a number of premium security features. WordPress core is automatically updated to the latest version. WP Engine thoroughly tests any major core updates before updating their customers or upgrading their customers, and they have this intrusion detection and prevention system to block any DDoS attacks, brute force attacks, malware, JavaScript, injection attacks, and more. They also partner with security firms to conduct regular code reviews and security audits as well. Your security is guaranteed, so even if you get hacked, WP Engine will fix it for free. Another thing that sets WP Engine out from AWS is their customer support and service. So WP Engine has a dedicated support team of WordPress experts. They have overall 97% customer satisfaction rate with thousands of customer interactions every day. The really good thing about WP Engine is that their support is available 24/7 via live chat support for all customers. Phone support is available 24/7 with all of their plans except for the startup plan, which is up here as well. And then if an issue can't be immediately resolved via chat or phone, the support staff will essentially create an internal support ticket for you and basically escalate the ticket level to sort out your issue as soon as possible. Enterprise customers get 24 access to this ticket support via email, and premium and enterprise customers receive a consultative one-on-one onboarding experience as well. So they really do take care of the getting started phase for you, and they really take care of that process for you as well. They offer a CDN in partnership with Max CDN, making their hosting even faster. And CDN is included free for all with all of their WP Engine hosting plans, which is a huge benefit and can prove to be very cost saving, because you're not paying extra for that. Some hosting providers will charge extra to have that, and it's such a good benefit to have. Another thing that's offered within WordPress themes that isn't actually offered within SiteGround and most other hosting providers is that you can actually use one of their WordPress themes to get started with your site. So WP Engine actually acquired a popular premium WordPress theme company called StudioPress. Now, all 36 and more premium Studio Press themes and the Genesis framework is available to all WP Engine customers for free. So Genesis framework is known for high performance and SEO friendly themes. Their code base is optimized for faster load page times without compromising functionality, and you get so many good, great looking and well coded themes at no additional cost. You can estimate that to be over $2,000 in value. So the fact that you get that to use when you purchase one of their plans is really good. Especially if you're just starting out with WordPress and you're not wanting to spend so much on a new theme, but you also don't have the experience or the knowledge or even the time just to build out your own theme the way you want it, and you don't want to use some of the free themes as well. So different ways you can sort of do that as well. Another really good advantage of WP Engine is money back guarantee. So WP Engine offers a really generous 60-day money back guarantee. If you're not happy with their service, you can cancel your account within the first 60 days and still receive a full refund. But this just to note that this only applies to their annual billing plans, so you can change your billing plans between monthly or annually. But with the annually, at least you get the 60-day money back guarantee. So overall, pros and cons of WP Engine is their security. So WP Engine keeps your site protected with through their advanced security features that other hosts just don't offer. They have really fast loading times. Their servers are optimized specifically for WordPress. They only host WordPress websites, so you know that they're optimized specifically for that. They have their own EverCache technology to help your website load faster, and you get access to CDN, which further boosts your performance. Reliability as well. WP Engine's proprietary front-end layer system can handle traffic spikes really easily without slowing down your site. WordPress expert support. So WP Engine's entire support staff is comprised of trained WordPress experts, and they have really good reviews. So WP Engine is incredibly popular host that gets great reviews from a lot of customers for their reliability and excellent customer service. Some downsides, though, that we haven't talked about of WP Engine. One of the main downsides being is disallowed plugins. So WP Engine doesn't allow you to install certain WordPress plugins on your site because they conflict with or duplicate WP Engine's features, or can cause high server load. And this includes a lot of popular caching and backup plugins and others. To see the full list, you just go into their support center and platform information, and you can see a full list of what they don't allow. So for example, some popular caching plugins they don't allow is WP Super Cache, WP Total Cache, but they do mention that they don't allow these plugins, and it's only because they have the functionality that these plugins perform. They already have that as their servers by default. So they also disallow some backup plugins, and they say that they don't allow them because they unnecessarily bloat your site and they can store files in an insecure way. But again, the good thing is that they take nightly backups of all their WordPress websites hosted with us as well. And those backups are available to you if you need to restore, copy, or download if you need to. The only drawback of this is that they take nightly backups, but then if you ever needed to make a backup instantly for during the day, for example, then you don't have the option to do that. They do, however, permit WordPress as an option if you do need it. So that's one thing to look out for if you're someone that needs specific backup plugins. Have a look at this list first and see if there's any thing there that's they disallow that you would actually need, and this would be quite important to know as well. But if any issues arise, or if you're not sure, you can always contact their sales team before you even purchase, and they'll be able to give you an exact quote of what you need as well. And if you need sort of like different alternatives to backup plugins or any other kind of plugins that you might need that's disallowed, they'll be able to tell you that as well. So overall, there's lots of pros and cons over using AWS over the other cloud hosting platforms. if you're only familiar with regular shared plans or managed WordPress hosting, it can be hard to then switch over to AWS hosting services because it is quite a steep learning curve. However, the AWS LightSail does make it easy to launch WordPress websites, and if you've used VPS hosting before, it still is as simple as launching a VPS host. And furthermore, AWS does offer the first 3 months of hosting free to new customers for their LightSail plan, so you can just test it out for 3 months and see how you feel about it. That's more than enough time to test the service yourself and launch a new WordPress website. But again, you can take a look, and if you know yourself actually you need a lot of technical support, you need a lot of help, that might be enough reason for you to be turned off by AWS hosting, either by the price of it or the fact that they just don't offer including one of their plans. If you are WordPress and you're new to WordPress, then maybe using SiteGround or WP Engine as your hosting provider might be better. It might be more expensive, and you don't get the plan customizations. However, you are making up for it for the expert knowledge and the hassle-free kind of hosting, because everything is managed by their expert team. WP Engine especially is specialized for WordPress, so you know everything. You can rely on them for all of your WordPress needs.